Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the bluegill spawn. Alright, so bluegill spawn. Awesome time. Right now here in Colorado we're kind of on the tail end of it. I should have made this video sooner, but we got like 2 weeks, maybe up to a month, to where it'll still be that tail end of the bluegill spawn. Up north, you're probably just getting into it. Down south, obviously, it's been done for a while. Whatever. But the reason why the bluegill spawn is awesome is it coincides with the bass spawn. As soon as the tail end of that bass spawn starts getting in, that's when the bluegill spawn starts. And that means that those post-spawn bass actually aren't moving out deep, or if they do, they're coming back in shallow and feeding on bluegill and gourding up, and it's a great time. So, I'm going to tell you guys what lures I like. I got 4. 2 of them are kind of the same. We'll get into that. How to kind of change it up a little bit for this time of year. Where to throw them, how to throw them, all that fun stuff. But, so let's get started. Number 1 should be no surprise. Chatterbait. But hear me out here. Okay, chatterbaits are always great to imitate bluegill anyway. Green pumpkin chatter, or you can go with the bluegill chatter. As my trailer, I pretty much always use a Rage Swimmer. It's like a Kitech style swim bait. You can use those too. These things have crazy action. That's really important right now, because I should actually get into this. Bluegill, where they spawn, pretty much the exact same places that bass spawn. Up in the shallow weeds. Actually, a lot of them just use bass beds, really. And they also hang out on the brush piles and groups and all that. So, anyway, but they're going crazy when they start getting in that spawn mode, flying around, swimming crazy. So crazy action lures really help. This is obviously one. That chattering, that big old tail wagging, crushes it. Now, as far as we'll do modification first. One thing, JJ's Magic, Spike It, some of those other dip and dies and whatever, great to have. Chartreuse color, I use JJ's Magic. They can be a pain. I know the jars, the lids kind of suck on JJ's Magic anyway. They kind of crack the plastic. They get all over your hands. Yeah, they can be a pain, but man, I love that stuff. That garlic scent will last like 2 days of straight fishing and will stay on that lure too. But the chartreuse, I take it, dip the tail of that swim bait up to there, right into it. Beautiful chartreuse color. And the reason for that being is when bluegill are spawning, like in the springtime and everything, when they're spawning, they get bright colors. Like, you can see them in the water. They're really bright, and you can look at their tails. They like have a chartreuse tint right on the outside, like the back of their tails, like a real bright color. So that chartreuse really helps with that. So it's a great thing to have right now. So anyway, with this, how you're going to want to fish it, we'll start, say you're on the bank, just run parallel with the bank. Cast it, run it through the weed lines. And then actually kind of go out to those weed edges, the drop-offs at the end of those weed edges, do the same thing. Usually bass are sitting right at those weed edges waiting for the bluegill to come out of those weed flats. Great thing. What I like to do on the boat, if you have a boat or a kayak, what I like to do is actually, the bank's in front of me, okay? And I stay back away from it and bomb casts up onto the bank pretty much, right at the edge of the bank, and just slow roll this thing out, straight out of the weed edges to the drop off, and just freaking boop, 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 just keep covering water, just a bunch of casts from that pretty much all the way up onto the bank, and just roll it out to that weed edge. Get crushed a lot then. And also run parallel too, I do. But that always seems to work, is casting out there, rolling out a couple feet over, whatever, and just keep doing that. So that's great. So that's pretty much it on the chatterbait. But yeah, chatterbait. Next, and this is the one that I said is kind of two. It's a jig, a flipping jig or a swim jig. This is actually a Dem Jigs flip and swim hybrid, so it's kind of both. Love this thing. I just started using them like a couple weeks ago, and I freaking love it. But anyway, a swim jig or a flipping jig, because like I said, they're hanging out around those brush piles and stuff. Flipping a jig in there can really work. Also swimming a jig out of those with the swim jig or the same spots as the chatterbait can work really well. Obviously, sticking with the green pumpkin, this one actually has a little bit of purple in it. That seems to crush it. Or you can get bluegill or bright color ones too. Now trailers. On a jig, I always use crawfish trailers or crawfish style trailers. It's just a confidence thing. I always use them. So this actually has a pack-a chunk on it right now. And actually, here's another one that I use like crazy. Let's see. Yeah, I have like 2 bags of these, just on plastics. It's crazy, I know. Maybe it's not in this one. Give me a sec. Gotta be in this one. Maybe. Oh yeah, what the heck? So, another trailer that I really like using, especially this time, for imitating bluegill and stuff. It's a Missile Baits D-bomb. Usually cut off these appendages though when I'm using it as a trailer. Which can or can't, I don't know, it's up to you, whatever. But yeah, this Missile Baits D-bomb, use that as a trailer. Now, also it's the same thing with your trailers, whether you're using a crawl trailer, one of these, whatever trailer you're using, dye the tail chartreuse again. Alright? Dip it in there, get nice and dyed. Now, you know when you have like a crawfish trailer, this one's actually a little crooked, not straight, but you know how you normally have it this way to the hook, so when it's falling, it's kicking like that, like, you know, appendages like a crawfish. What you can do, and I do this sometimes, not all the time, but what you can do if you're more imitating bluegill, you can do this with the D-bomb too, is you actually put it on the other way, like 90 degrees from that. So, like, this trailer is a little jacked because I was using this one like crazy. Kind of got tore up. But you can actually put it the other way. See that? Where it's like the same direction as the hook. Like that. And that will actually give you more of, you know, side-to-side action, more of like a tail action. The D-bomb really does that really well. But that's it. Flip them into brush piles, swim the jig out. That's why I love these. You know, flip it in there, maybe give it a couple pops or something, and then kind of swim it out too. It's great for flipping, and then also a great swim jig. But yeah, when swimming out, that's when you get crushed a lot of times. But yeah, you can fish flipping it in, swimming it around the brush pile, or you can also fish a swim jig like you do a chatterbait pretty much. Maybe they're not hitting the chatterbait, maybe it's too crazy. Try a swim jig, and vice versa. Alright, last one. Senko. A Senko done wacky style. If you know me, you know my channel. I'm not really a huge wacky rigging guy. I like Texas rigging, Senko, but wacky rigging at this time is actually really good. And this is like the one time that I kind of like doing it, because it kind of is more of a bait fish presentation, kind of fluttering down. This thing is great if you are not getting hit on any of this other stuff. Okay, if you are struggling, or maybe you only caught a couple fish or something, maybe, you know, it's just slow and you need something, you gotta slow it down, go with that nice finesse presentation, wacky rig. And it's the same thing, dye that tail, chartreuse, works a lot. This is a watermelon red, you can use those, or a green pumpkin. I just couldn't find a green pumpkin, I just grabbed the first one I had. But yeah, good old same thing, green pumpkin, dye that tail, chartreuse, or you can buy the ones that, like, the Yamasenko have green pumpkin ones with chartreuse tails if you really want to go that route. But just wacky rig it, make sure you get a wacky rig hook with a weed guard on it. Those things are awesome. Used to not use those and hated it, but as soon as those, I saw those and everything, started buying those. They're freaking awesome. But, and then it's the same thing, pitch them into those brush piles. You can really fish along the weed line if you want. Just slow down, go with this guy, let it hit, you know, just fish it pretty much like a wacky rig. Don't go super crazy with it. Just slow, let it sink, couple pops, you know, that fun stuff. And that's really it. Those are the 4 things that I freaking love. But really, you can go just green pumpkin. It's great bluegill imitation color. And dye those tails chartreuse, because like I said, their tails are chartreuse right now. Bright. They are bright right now, so that really helps. And erratic action. Keep it erratic, you know, like the chatterbait. Good pops and stuff like that. Vary it up a little bit, but, you know, you can't really go too erratic right now because they're just darting around everywhere. And then a lot of times bass are just chasing them, so they're darting around even more. It's a pretty crazy time. But weed edges, that's where they're going to be spawning. Brush piles where they're going to be staging, just like bass pretty much. And also another thing you can tell is they are going crazy. You will see them surfacing on flies and things like that. You will see them around. Throw it around those, obviously. You got fish over there feeding on. There's probably a bass over there waiting on them. So that's pretty much it. Those are all my bites for this time. I hope that helps you. It's really not super difficult, but it's just, you know, figured help you with lures that I really like and what I throw, and let you know that bluegill spawns on. So go to a pond where there's bluegill or whatever, or even lakes, and imitate those bluegills. You have a chance to catch a big one that's sitting there feeding up after spawning. So thank you. Click on my logo in the upper left hand corner to subscribe. In the upper right hand corner is the last video I made. In the lower right hand corner there's a video I know you'll enjoy. And make sure to hit that like button down below as well.